My name is Shayla Gunnels. I've been a piano teacher for over 20 years. I specialize in students with special needs and in doing video lessons. Today I want to talk about three things: how to find a piano teacher, what questions to ask before your first piano lesson, and the final one, what do I bring to my first lesson? I want to get started on my first point. How do I find a piano teacher? According to meux.com, asking for a referral from a family member or friend is a great way to find a piano teacher. I have a family in my studio that had some friends that were unhappy with the piano teachers in the area they live, so they recommended me, and they started with me, and after a few weeks they recommended me to another family, so now I have all three families in my studio. So referrals are a great way. According to an article at hoffmanacademy.com, it's important that piano teachers respect their students. I have an autistic student who is largely nonverbal, and he finds great joy in repeating over and over musical patterns. And if I know he's doing it to tease me, then I will gently correct the behavior and ask him to play the song as written. But sometimes I can tell that he's doing it to express a really big emotion that he doesn't have another way of expressing. And in those instances, it's not my job to correct him. He's using the music for what it's intended for him. My second point I want to talk about is, what questions should I ask before I start piano lessons? According to an article at ashleydanu.com, it's important to ask a piano teacher how much practice time do they expect of you. That question is a broad one for me to answer. And we used to request timers from students, and that's gone by the wayside for most of us. The only time I request that a student use a timer is if they have OCD tendencies, and I need them to limit the amount of time that they are spending on an exercise or a piece. Outside of that, I talk to them about what their goals are and how they want to accomplish those goals, what time frame they want to take to accomplish those goals, because all of that ties into how much they want to practice. It's not about me, it's about them. According to an article at sanantoniomusicschools.com, asking about curriculum that a piano teacher uses is very important. I remember one mother called me and wanted her son to be in a particular curriculum that I won't use for a variety of reasons, but I knew someone who did. So I simply referred her to that teacher, and we both parted ways amicably, and we didn't waste either one of our time. So it's a great question to make sure that you know ahead of time. So we've talked about how to find a piano teacher. We've talked about what do I ask before starting piano lessons. And now we're gonna start, and you're gonna find out what to bring to your first piano lesson. You wanna make sure, according to lessonsatyourhome.net, that you bring your music books and your assignment book. And I had a family that constantly forgot theirs. And so I made sure that I either had backups or I could email their notes or whatever it was. So if your life is hectic like that, make sure that you have an extra set in your car, or make sure that your piano teacher can accommodate it. According to an article in sagemusic.co, you need to be prepared to purchase supplies beyond just your lesson tuition monthly. And I remember a student that came for an interview that was shocked that she had to have a piano to practice on at home. And this was an adult student. I was a little shocked too by that conversation. But yes, there's going to be additional expenses. It could be books, it could be clothes for an event, it could be event fees. So be prepared for that. So I have talked about how to find a piano teacher. I've talked asking for a referral. I have talked about what questions to ask before a piano lesson, practice time expected of you, curriculum. And now the last one I've talked about is what to bring to your first piano lesson. Make sure that your curriculum will be available to you. Everyone should feel comfortable at their first piano lesson. Finding the right piano teacher doesn't have to be stressful. Ask your questions, do your research, find someone who listens and who is kind, and that will go a long way to making you feel comfortable at your first piano lesson.